Should the San Francisco 49ers trade for Mac Jones? That's the topic of conversation on today's show. Appreciate all of you for watching the 49ers Report. I'm your host, Chase Sr. Hope all of the faithful is having a fantastic week. So we're talking about Mac Jones because he was benched on Monday Night Football for Bailey Zappe. And the Patriots were down in the game early against the Chicago Bears as Justin Fields looked really, really impressive. Zappe comes in. He leads 2 touchdown drives. Then on the sideline, he's seen singing, "Stacy's mom has got it going on." But then the Bears went on to really dominate that football game. And after the game, Bill Belichick really didn't comment as to whether or not it was going to be Bailey Zappe as the team's starting quarterback or Mac Jones. But all signs do point to Zappe once again getting the start for the Patriots next game. So this does make Mac Jones a very interesting trade target. Why? Because of everything that we just talked about, but also San Francisco, according to many reports out there, had interest in taking Mac Jones in the 2021 NFL Draft. We know how that ended up, right? They traded 3 first-round picks to move up for Trey Lance, and a lot of people believe that was a mistake, but honestly, is there a big gap right now between Trey Lance and Mac Jones? Their careers have not gotten off to an ideal start for both of those individual players. There were rumblings at the time that Kyle Shanahan really liked Mac coming out of Alabama in the pre-draft process, and reports did imply that Mac was the Niners' target and not Trey Lance. But because of organizational pressure, that's why San Francisco went ahead and drafted Trey Lance. My issue with Mac, and I've said this kind of all along, in the pre-draft process and even after the NFL draft, when a lot of the faithful wanted San Francisco to take Mac, considering how good he was at Alabama with a very, very loaded offensive core around him, he has a ceiling, and he is a very limited quarterback. As a scheme fit in this offense, I could see him having some success as a guy who could play pitch and catch, but it's kind of what Jimmy Garoppolo is, right? And also, you saw on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs that in the National Football League here in 2022, there are very few quarterbacks who can keep up with the guy to the likes of Patrick Mahomes. And that's why a lot of teams out there are looking for quarterbacks who are dual threat, who have athletic qualities, who can push the ball downfield. And I really want to see what Kyle Shanahan can do with the quarterback who's not limited like Mac Jones, who has shown me so far that he has a noodle arm, kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo. And this is where things also get interesting in this conversation, though. San Francisco does have major quarterback questions right now with Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance, and also moving into the future. Jimmy Garoppolo in the final year of his deal, and going back to his days at North Dakota State, Trey Lance has barely played any football. So whether they trade for Mac Jones as a starter or a backup, it's certainly a noteworthy conversation to have. And with Shanahan, of course, he is to blame for the Niners' lackluster start on the offensive side of the football. But I do want to see what he's able to do with a legitimate quarterback who can complete and make all throws on the football field. Down the hashes, outside the numbers, take the top off of the defense with some vertical routes as well. And up to this point, we really haven't seen Kyle Shanahan do that. Now, I thought that Trey Lance was going to be that guy, and maybe he is down the road. But again, I'm concerned about Trey, 1, because of the injury. 2, he hasn't played a lot of football, and the inexperience level is a little bit concerning, and I wish that Kyle Shanahan would have called plays for Trey Lance like he's called this year for Jimmy Garoppolo, as he's been a little bit more aggressive with Jimmy G. We're just starting this conversation. First, though, today's poll question. I want to hear from all of you right now in the comment section. Should San Francisco trade for Mac Jones? Give me a T for trade or a P for pass right now in the comments section. Now, we're not the only football aficionados who are talking about Mac Jones to the Bay right now after he got benched in favor for Bailey Zappe. Bill Barnwell, ESPN, 2023 49er starting quarterback, Mac Jones. Matthew Berry, formerly of ESPN, now with NBC Sports, Mac Jones to either the Indianapolis Colts, who are now going with Sam Ehlinger, or to the San Francisco 49ers. There's also this conversation about Mac because we know that he's somewhat limited in terms of his talent. But the overarching question, is he a good quarterback? Now, I do think that his coaching and talent are suspect on the offensive side of the ball. The fact that Matt Patricia is calling the offensive plays for New England, and he's been anointed to that spot by Bill Belichick, is really, really head-scratching. Also, going into that game against the Chicago Bears, Bill Belichick really wanted to experiment with a platoon at that quarterback spot. Doesn't make any sense. And the offensive talent on the Patriots roster, somewhat thin. But for the last 9 starts that Mac Jones has appeared as the starting QB for New England, he's 2-7. 6 of those losses have been by double digits. The closest loss during that span, 9 points against the Miami Dolphins. And while the coaching and talent is suspect, so too is the talent for Mac Jones, in my opinion. Now, you look at his career starts. He's certainly thrown the football a lot, and there is somewhat of a large sample size for Mac. 419 of 624, his completions to attempt so far in a year change as being the starting QB for the Patriots. He's thrown for 4,600 yards, not a number that will blow you away by any means. 24 touchdowns to 19 picks. He's thrown and completed 67% of his passes, which actually is good, and that's why Kyle Shanahan liked him in the pre-draft process. Average yards per attempt, a pretty solid number at 7.8. So I do think there's a better player in there with Mac Jones. I just don't think that the talent and the skill position players are all that good for New England. They are certainly a defensive-oriented team, but in terms of his athletic ability, that's where I'm concerned, and I want to see a guy like Trey Lance in this offense because I think it makes this offense a lot more explosive. A reminder to subscribe to the channel, because whether the 49ers make a big trade, another big one like Christian McCaffrey for a player like Mac Jones, or a minor move, we have it covered here on the channel. NFL trade deadline coming up on November 1st, as I said a little bit earlier. Make sure you lock us in. Even after the NFL trade deadline, even during the offseason, we break down videos every single day. Niners news, rumors, and analysis, so hit that subscribe button down below. We're about to talk about Christian McCaffrey next. And finally, Christian McCaffrey jerseys are available. Make sure you use that link down below for those deals to apply, though, and so that Fanatics knows that Chat Sports sent you. You can get the scarlet red uni or the white uni. All you got to do, chatsports.com/CMC. We'll put that link in the comment section and the description of this video. It's also on the community tab of our YouTube channel right now. All right, let's shift gears now to Christian McCaffrey, because we talked about this last Thursday when we went live. Appreciate 20,000 people for joining the show. It was a blast as we went live until 1:30 a.m. Central and had a lot of fun chopping it up with everybody. But at the time, we were talking about how the Niners kind of stole Christian McCaffrey away from the Los Angeles Rams, and Sean McVay basically admitted as much this week in the lead-up to the 49ers taking on the Los Angeles Rams at what we hope is going to be Levi Stadium South at SoFi Stadium. Sean McVay on Christian McCaffrey going to San Francisco. You thought, oh, snap, they're getting another great player. McVay told reporters on Monday about his reaction as a competitor. You say, hey, they've got him. We've got to be able to move forward accordingly, and it just so happens that they're on the schedule this week. And I am really excited to see what Christian McCaffrey can do with more time in this offense. In the limited sample size that we saw against the Kansas City Chiefs, you saw the ability that made the Niners make this trade, and that's why I liked it at the time. Look, if you think that you have a Super Bowl-capable roster, go all in, be aggressive, and try to bring back a 6th Lombardi trophy. And Christian McCaffrey might be able to help this stale offense become a little bit more dynamic against the Chiefs. You saw reasons for why he could help turn around this sluggish offense right now. 8 carries, 38 yards, including 2 carries on that first drive that popped for 9 and 10 yards. He also caught the ball twice for 24 yards. So a lot of his touches did go for first downs. And that's the level of explosion that he could bring to Kyle Shanahan's offense. And I want to see him be Kyle Shanahan, a little bit more creative with his usage of CMC moving forward, and hopefully with more game planning and with more time of him being at the practice facility in Santa Clara, McCaffrey will be able to do just that. You see exactly why the Niners traded for him. This guy is a dynamic weapon. An improvement that I also want to see on top of the creativity, though, Shanny, you got to run more screens, not just to your running backs, but also get your tight ends involved by throwing some screens as well. Take a page out of the Kansas City Chiefs playbook. Allow the blitz to get upfield, dump it off to the running back, dump it off to the tight end, and sometimes that bails you out of a 3rd and long. Just like that Jerick McKinnon play last Sunday that went for, that big gain on 3rd and 20, and that was really one of the back-breaking plays in that football game. And under Kyle Shanahan, he has not run enough screens, in my opinion, the last couple of years. When he came here to the Bay in 2017, he ran the 7th most screens to running backs in the NFL. Then in 2018, it went to 23. 2019 had a lot of success, 10th most screens. And then the last 3 years, 21, 24, 21. Screens to running backs and tight ends helps counter the blitz. And Jimmy Garoppolo against the blitz against the Chiefs was not good. He seemed to be flustered. He didn't know where he was going with the football. The interception that he threw in the red zone where he threw like a 5-yard Hail Mary, the blitz came and he just lofted that football up. Help your quarterback out, Kyle Shanahan, by running some more screens to your running backs and your tight ends because it alleviates some pressure off the quarterback, but also you're able to get your blockers out in space, which is what you already do within this offense. You have all these offensive linemen who really flourish on some of those pull blocks, and you have now the running back weapons and the tight end weapons to just dump the football off, allow the blitz to get upfield. It's an easy read for your quarterback and sometimes a very easy play to complete that can change the momentum and alter the complexion of games. Shanahan, you just got to be better in that regard. So great McCaffrey's performance against the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to hear from you once more in the comment section, A, B, C, D, or F, and as always, appreciate all of you for rocking and rolling with us here on the Niners Report.